All right.
All right, man. What's up?
Hey, feather rufflers. That's our new podcast.
This is where we're going to change it?
Yeah, it's now the
FTWG.
feather rufflers.
Okay, so welcome to the Feather Rufflers. We are a left-wing political podcast. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I saw some comment there like, you guys talk about political stuff too much. And I'm like, well, yeah, it has to do with our business. And
yeah, I mean, if it has to do with our business,
yeah.
I mean, there's no, we don't care who you believe in or whatever you do it with your personal life, but we're just sharing our experience and how it affects us, and in some ways it affects people out there that get products from us. So,
I voted for Kanye West in the last election.
Yeah.
That's who I voted for.
But, I wanted to, if the one thing I want to say, though, is that, when it comes to skateboarding, it's supposed to be fun, okay?
Yeah.
And whatever we do, we're going to ruffle feathers, That's part of being good marketers. If you're not ruffling feathers, you're not doing a good job in advertising, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And so, but don't take it too, lighten up. It's not like we're trying to, take down a company or bastardize somebody or anything like that. We're just trying to have fun. Okay. So just understand whatever we do or whatever we say, it's just our opinion, and it doesn't mean much. It just means that this is how no one's going to be exactly the same.
It's just
As a matter of fact,
time.
that's what makes, I think, humans, with AI coming in, what's good about humans is that we're all different.
Yeah.
And we're all quirky. We're all a little bit weird in our own way. We're all strange in some way or another. I mean, nobody's perfect. I make a lot of mistakes. I probably say stuff that I shouldn't even say.
Yeah.
But just relax, have fun.
You're wearing a feathered cap.
Yeah, I'm just having fun. I'm being stupid, okay?
Yeah.
You want to call me stupid, gay, whatever, go ahead. I don't care.
Yeah. A lot of those. A lot of gay bashing.
You got to have some.
Comments.
You need to have some thicker in skateboard. What I've learned in the decades I've been in this business, you have to have thicker skin. Yeah. If you don't have thicker skin in skateboarding, you're gonna get butt hurt all the time,
physically and mentally.
Yeah. So
thicker
it's like
skin for those falls, and then thicker skin in your head. Yeah. We don't care. We're just trying to have a good time. And FTWG,
get the rest, fuck the best.
Yeah, that's it. And FTWG is more than about skateboarding too. That's why we kind of did that little bit of a rebrand move. It's like, it's for those who grind. Yeah. For those building things on their spare time, for those who are grinding their 9 to 5, for those who are doing whatever with their creativity and trying to have a good time. And that's what we're here for.
And I want to clarify too, it's like we respect all skateboard companies and skateboarders.
Yeah.
They're part of our tribe.
GrindKing is fully inclusive, and that's how we're rolling with it.
Yeah.
I don't care what you are. Yeah, I'm interested in like the individual that you are, and we want to hear from you.
I'd love to even have some other truck companies come on the podcast.
That'd be
at
awesome.
Some point.
Yeah,
because it's different. Like we say, different trucks for different fucks.
Yeah, there's so many different people too out there,
Yeah.
and we've met so many interesting people. I'm almost like sentimental a little bit since the time we've started this and gotten here now, just with GrindKing, with the podcast, with everything that we got going on. We've it's been a cool ride so far.
Yeah,
it's
so
only
far
getting
it's been
started.
cool. And I want to say too that there's in marketing for other truck companies out there that maybe have their own opinions on different things, is that take a position. Like here, for example, if I'm indie, okay, I'm gonna pretend I'm indie because as much as people want to say we're hating on indie, I personally love indie. I would like to sell more trucks than them, of course, but I have full respect for indie. They're the ones that inspired me to even make trucks.
Yeah.
And the thing about indie that I think if I was indie, this is what I would, this is their, most people may not even know this. Their slogan, their mission statement, or they have something like a mission statement or something, and it's really good. The choice of pros.
Yeah.
Choice of professionals. And they are. I mean, that's a very good position. Yeah. I can't claim that.
No.
GrindKing can't claim.
Maybe it's not what we want.
That's
either.
not what our positioning is. Our
positioning
is it's sort of what I'm moving in the direction of, as you will see as we roll out more stuff, is we're going to be the customizable truck.
Yeah.
We're going to offer the most customization for a truck. And that's our thing, whether you like it or not. It's
our category.
We're not going to try and go head to head with indie in the same category, in the same design. and we respect that.
And that's why we don't have a pro team either. Just because that's not the direction we're moving in. We don't need that. That's not what we're doing.
Yeah.
Doing something different.
Not to say that we wouldn't want pros to ride our trucks.
Of course not. Yeah.
Of course I would.
Yeah, if you want to ride them.
But we maybe in the future we'll have a program for ways where I'm hoping that at some point I can offer a way to bring value to pros to where they will want to ride us, not just because we have good trucks, but because maybe there's a way they can monetize it.
Maybe there's something synergistic there.
We've got something. Yeah, we've got some stuff in the cooker. So
you weren't supposed to reveal that.
Yeah, well, I didn't say anything.
You're always revealing.
Just kidding. I was just kidding.
Always.
So
right on. So there's a lot of comments in that post.
Yeah,
I'm loving it. We got a lot of views. A lot of indie people in the comments. And I think one of the number one comments that we've seen so far is that you got to earn your grooves.
Earn your grooves.
You got to earn your grooves.
So
what do you got to say about that?
Well, first of all, I think that's let me explain how I came up with the grooves, okay? Because there's a story behind that. It's not just I just pulled that out of my ass one day. I started going to skate parks and talking to skaters, because this is kind of like the new era of GrindKing for me, is like do more listening than just creating right away. I used to just create stuff out of my mind and then just hope people would like it.
Yeah.
But for me today, what I've learning, I'm still learning a lot. I found that it's better to kind of get a lot of feedback before you just create stuff. Mm-hmm. So, with the locker, this first generation locker, for example, it's not perfect. And to those riders who have actually took their chance in trying this truck out, I salute them, because they are, it's risky to try something new.
They're trailblazers.
They're trailblazers.
Yeah.
They're the test pilots. And by me listening to the comments, as a matter of fact, a lot of the comments that are hate comments, I thank those skaters too, because they're giving me a lot of insight into what's next, and there is something next.
Yeah.
So those comments are extremely, keep them coming.
They're really valuable.
I certainly like the idea that let me go back to the grooves, because that was where I'm getting off track.
Yeah.
So how I came up with the grooves. So I started talking to skaters at parks, and especially good skaters. Of course, I want to know what good skaters are, what they want. And the thing that got me, I remember trying to give a skater a new truck, and he's all, no, man, I got these grooves going, and my trucks they're perfect, right?
They're locked in.
And then I started watching indie. They have a channel.
Their little YouTube videos on there.
My Indies or whatever, right? So I watched that. I'm paying attention, and I noticed that a lot of the skaters in there that were for riding for them they kept talking about the grooves. They kept saying, like, look at my grooves. These are the perfect grooves. So I was going like, they like the grooves, so there's something to the grooves. But here's the problem. I wanted to solve, there is a problem with the grooves, okay?
Well,
and
the grooves that they make. The grooves
that anyone makes.
Yeah,
so I've got some trucks here. I've got actually a very well-worn GrindKing truck and a well-worn Indy. And you can see these have been grooved all the way to the axle, that which is as far as you can really go on these trucks. But if you notice something on both of them, they're cracked. So
right where the groove is.
Yeah.
Is
so right when your grooves are at the perfect, or you've earned your grooves. Yeah. Unfortunately, the trucks are done. Their lifespan is pretty much over. I mean, you can still ride them a bit, but they're cracked. They're definitely not as strong as when they were new. They're compromised. And the other thing about it is that they're not perfectly grooved. I mean, this one might feel good, but look at this little lip at the end here. A lot of skaters, again, talking to the locker, the grooves, they were at the first lockers. I don't know if some people remember, this was much more pronounced. Yeah, okay, yeah. So
this is like the prototype.
The first locker that I made, which was, you could see had this really kind of pronounced horn, or whatever you want to call it. And that was a problem. just like this one, if you look at the Indy, it's even kind of worse in a sense that it comes in further. And after talking to skaters, they're saying, that's not good when you're doing like ledges. And I was like, that's a good point. So I took that down quite a bit on the lockers that are out there now. And so this is something that is a problem that I think the locker solves, which is that when you have this beautiful groove that now feels really great, these trucks are at the end of their life, where these at least the new lockers, they just begin here. So it's a lot of people think, oh, you're going to hit the axle real fast. No, you're not. The axle's way down. The axle looks like this. It's not straight across, so it follows the groove down. So you have as much, if not more, lifetime than regular trucks that have no U-beam axle.
It also makes it virtually impossible to have axle slip, even though that's not a problem
it is impossible.
Yeah.
It's totally, with this kind of axle, you cannot move it in the casting.
Slip it. Yeah.
It also is stronger. So much stronger is its design by having it flat like a beam instead of a rod, that I put holes in it, which lightens the axle up, and it doesn't affect, it's still strong enough. Like if this was a round axle and I put holes in it like this, it would be very weak.
Yeah.
It would be compromised.
So
but by flattening it, you can see it's flat. It's been flattened, and that makes it more of instead of a rod, a beam. Just like I-beams in buildings, they make them beams wise is stronger than a round tubing.
Yeah.
So that is there's 4 reasons this is better. One is it's stronger, it's lighter, it's impossible to slip, and of course it allows for the design of this so that you don't just wear out your trucks right away.
And there's a lot of thinking that went into that.
There's a lot of engineering that goes into it. I have an engineering background. I used to do architecture, and I used to work under a structural engineer. I did civil engineering. So it's not like I just, just from skateboarding. Skateboarding came after my tenure in engineering, more building design.
Yeah.
So that's something that, having some knowledge in surfaces and structural engineering and materials is important as being a truck designer. It's not just like pretty stuff. Some people hate the way this looks. But it's not. I didn't design it just for looks. The curves and everything there's a reason for it. It's functional, and there is some cosmetics. I look at a lot of cars. I love the way cars have lines, especially cars from classic cars. They have beautiful lines, and Indy even has a classic beautiful line, in my opinion. But I'm not one to copy. I don't want to be like everyone else and just copy Indy. I respect Indy. Indy's got the Indy look. And some truck companies have taken the Indy look, kind of got a very close look to it and improved it a little.
Yeah.
And I respect that.
Things about it, just the design
they're doing their own thing in their own way. They've changed a little bit. They have their own flair. They have their own little positioning. And they should market that. They should find out what really makes them different from the rest, so that they stand for something. And again, to say just you're the best, are GrindKings the best? No, they're not. Like a matter of fact, GrindKings are very light. And if I was going to bomb a hill,
we were just talking about that. Yeah.
I think weight is better. Like I would probably rather have an Indy.
Yeah,
myself,
I feel the same way
because it's heavier. It's a heavier truck. You want that weight when you're doing something like just bombing a hill.
You want to be able to feel the feet underneath you. So maybe the locker's a little bit more techie of a truck, but
totally.
At the end of the day, it's a different thing.
It's not. There's no such thing as the best.
You need a Ford truck.
There's no such thing as a best car or truck. It depends on what you do and what type of rider and all that stuff. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to be the most customizable truck, because there's so many different types of skaters. Why not have a truck that can adjust to that skater more? And
the positioning is more about the individual than the group as a whole.
Right.
Yeah. So
but there will always be a space in the skateboard scene for the kind of classic truck that Indy is, and then other truck companies have sort of emulated. That position is classic never dies. Like my brother said that, and I like that. Classic never dies.
That's true.
And so, that being said, I want to differentiate. They have the classic. I'm the custom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's all.
It's category. That's the positioning.
Yeah. That. By the way, in marketing, in case any of you guys have a interest in marketing or have a product or want to start a business, one of the things I recommend is to not just have a brand, okay? Because everyone can be like a Me Too brand. I'm also this, and I'm also the best. That's not the. That's very generic. You want to, if possible, create your own category. So like GrindKing, we're the custom truck. Okay, that's the category I want to be the category king of. And indie could be the category for the classic truck, the choice of the pros that have been around. That's maybe a great category. And so if you're starting something, whether it's a skate business or any business, try and find a way to differentiate yourself so that you're not just another whatever it is.
Yeah, I would also suggest if you have a solution for something and an idea, don't start at just making the solution. Go to the problem first and then listen to the people that have those pain points. So like just the other day, we have this other project going on and I decided to make an automator to go scrape Reddit because I feel like Reddit is real people having real conversations. So pull a bunch of data, go listen to people, go see what their real pain points are. You might have an idea, but it might shift you to a different idea once you kind of discover what the real pain points below the problem you're trying to solve, and it might shift you. So always start with problem, solution you might have, but that solution might shift. And we're doing that with the locker. We're listening to all you guys. So in the comments, comment what you don't like about them, comment what you like about them, and we're 100% listening to that.
Absolutely. And the other thing I wanted to mention is that, and this is the big mistake a lot of companies make, including me. I've made this mistake. You want to oftentimes when you start, you got a new idea or something, or you have a truck, let's say, you want to think that you're going to be something for everybody. Like this is going to be this. We're going to sell to everybody that's in skateboarding, or everybody in backpacks or something. You want to actually think the opposite way in marketing. You want to go to as small as niche as possible. Yeah, you want to find a little crack, not a canyon, but a crack.
Yeah,
and then you want to get in. You wedge yourself in a little crack, and slowly break it open wider.
And you can always go deeper with it too. Don't think that you're like, okay, my product is for skateboarders at the age of 40. Skateboarders at the age of 40 that are dads. Skateboarders at the age of 40 that are dads that live in this specific area. Just go deeper and deeper and deeper.
As much as you can. Go as here's some good examples that you can relate to that are perfect examples of this sort of thinking. Look at these big companies like Facebook, okay?
Like Amazon's a better example.
Or they're both.
Yeah,
both good example, because Facebook was not for everybody.
No.
It was for I think it was college
students.
kids. They were just, and he wanted, I think Zuckerberg was trying to find a way to get a bunch of girls or something. It was like a college thing.
Well, no, I think it was hot or not.
Hot or not type thing. Yeah.
So
he found that, and it worked, and it was something that he could own, that category.
Yep.
And he basically it was very successful because it was a niche that he could easily conquer.
Yeah.
And once he conquered that, then he pushed the crack open wider and wider and wider until he's got the Grand Canyon,
Yeah.
And the Amazon
just books.
Amazon, the Amazon was just books.
Yep. And only domestic. He didn't. I saw Bezos telling a story where his first order from Europe was Bulgaria, and they sent him cash in the mail in a floppy disk.
Oh, wow.
And that's how they sent it him. And he was trying to figure out how to push out international orders. And that was before, when it was just domestic, and he was selling books domestically, which is wild to think about. Is he got some cash in a floppy disk, shows humble beginnings.
Yeah.
And had a little note. It's the cash is in the floppy disk.
And you could see how that evolved to now he's like this monster of everything.
He's the everything man, yeah.
Which, if he had tried to do it the other way around, he may never have made it. He might not have stood out enough to where he got noticed and then built from there. So that's a bit of advice from marketing is that, try and find tone down your niche as much as possible at the beginning. Of course, have a strategy to expand and scale up later because you don't want to stay in your niche forever. If
you also don't want to pigeonhole yourself.
Yeah,
too,
you don't want to pigeonhole, but you do want to pare down your niche to as fine of a focus point as possible at the beginning. So that those are just little things. I like as much as I like skateboarding these days. I like entrepreneurship and the challenge of creating new stuff. What to me is amazing is you can take an idea and you have to go through all these steps to bring it to fruition, and most ideas fail. I have to say for me, if I had maybe in all the stuff I've created, if 1 out of 10 maybe was successful, that's a pretty good batting average.
Yeah.
So don't be discouraged by failing. Because that's kind of a prerequisite. You have to be able to stomach failure.
Yeah.
And you got to be able to stomach haters. I remember when I came up with that grip dog thing before I was trying to figure out how to make money. I had that grip dog. I think I showed it was somewhere over here.
That was built for you, Donald.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. We've showed it.
Yeah, I showed it before. Yeah. But anyway, that, I remember when I first showed it in some ads, I was getting some hate. And it really bothered me. I was just
it's so hurtful.
I was butthurt.
Yeah.
And then I started realizing, that's okay because, and it didn't take off. It never turned into my $1 million idea, but it was a good practice. It gave me, I got back into the game because I had stopped skateboarding for about 10 years or so. And so I kind of was rusty in terms of creating products. And I was, more of the party guy, throwing these parties. And so it was good for me to, get back into the game with a new world out there that over 10 years, things have changed so much. So you had to, I kind of, I'm an older dog, so I had to learn new tricks. It takes a little bit more effort. But I hung in there, and I'm still learning, and it's still, there's no guaranteed whether we'll be successful or not. But I'm going to never stop trying. That you can never, don't stop. If you fail, just get right back up, dust yourself off, and just keep going.
Don't keep all your eggs in one basket.
That's another thing.
Make sure to ruffle feathers.
Yeah, and be a feather. And in
ruffler.
terms of marketing, this is another thing too. It's because I remember when we ran that ad where it has the indie and it has the GrindKing. We're trying to be a little controversial. That was the whole point of it. But we're, I reiterate, we respect indie. It wasn't some people say we dissed indie. No, we didn't. We just compared it to indie in a way that makes us different. Theirs is, designed for skaters in the 80s. That's what I rode. And the truck has changed a little bit. They recently joined the Inverted Kingpin Club, which I'm happy
as
for.
Well as a lot of other truck
welcome.
companies.
I hope other truck companies join too. Jay Adams, who was he was my first, guy that really was riding it, and I was stoked I had Jay on it. He told me, he goes, never forget it. He says, one day all truck companies are going to have that. And I was just really? And it took decades. It took decades, and not all have it, but most seem to have a version of it.
Seems like lately it's really coming back.
Yeah,
too. There's a lot of talk about it.
I mean, it helps. It was a reason why I stuck with it, and why now companies are adopting it finally, because it's a hang-up point. Trucks have to be designed for. The original truck design with that Kingpin is for roller skates.
Yeah,
why not? Skaters, and that's why for me progressing skateboarding and customizing trucks is important, because skateboarding needs to progress like every sport.
Yeah.
And so and there's all going to be different facets: the classic trucks, the longboard trucks, custom trucks, it's all good, and so it's not like we want anyone to fail. We just we're being feather rufflers because that's good marketing.
Yeah.
And by the way, that ad we ran, when we ran it the next day,
it was just a post.
It was a post,
yeah,
a post.
Post.
But I remember running it, and then I saw some hate coming in, and I called Ryan. I was like, "Hey, maybe do you think we should take that down?" And Ryan's like, "No, man, it's getting a lot of views." I was like, "Really?" And then I started looking. I was going, "Holy shit! It's getting more views than any other post." We're up to 327,000 as I last checked.
I think the algorithm just loves controversy.
Yeah. I mean,
it seems like it. That's like
we've never done a post that's even a tenth of that.
No way. Yeah. It also, I mean, we almost gained like I think we're coming up on like 600 followers just in like a couple weeks just from that one post. So got a lot more eyes on us. If you're new and you're just seeing us, welcome.
Yeah.
So super stoked on that.
We thank those who are,
even though I love all of the bad comments too. Yeah. I read all of them. Yeah. Somebody said I shouldn't have put in an apostrophe on the 80s.
Yeah.
80s, but I guess you're not supposed to put an apostrophe. I'm not a grammar expert, but I looked it up. He was correct. I was like, oh, I didn't know that. Yeah.
And again, don't take it personally. I made some snide comments on there, having fun back. I think
your mom.
I said something about someone's mom, and I shouldn't have done that. So I'm sorry, but I'm just like
shows your boomer age.
It shows that I'm still I haven't matured too much.
Me neither.
I should.
That's okay.
I should grow up. Come on, dude.
Grow up, man. I mean, I enjoy being a menace sometimes, but what can you do? I think I need to get myself a feather ruffler hat.
Yeah, well, this hat, someone who makes this really cool stuff. I go to this festival called Burning Man every year, and this is what I would wear sometimes. And I was known for this camp called Playa Surfers, and I made these motorized surfboards. They were with wheels, and they were motorized, and they would it was like I brought the surf to the desert. So I had a full-size lifeguard tower.
You had the tarp.
Tower 33, which was a replica of this here in Santa Monica. They have these light blue towers. It was an exact replica.
Locals only.
I would build it there, and then we had this, like, in front of our camp, we would have these out on the playa. We have like the surfboards, and we'd let people ride them. And then we'd do this really cool thing where we'd bring this like huge tarp, like a blue tarp that was like, I think it was like a 60 by 40 tarp or something.
I'll put a video up on the screen showing it.
Yeah, and it's called tarp surfing. So
surfing.
You pull one end, and it makes, if the wind hits it right, it's like a perfect barrel. So you can get barreled in the desert on these motorized surfboards. So that was kind of like my shtick at Burning Man.
I almost killed myself on one of those things. Like I was just riding it barefoot.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and I started getting a little bit of speed wobble.
I've seen people eat.
Yeah, you can eat it so bad. It was so much fun, though.
It was fun. Yeah, it was a lot of fun because you're it's just surreal because you're in the desert and there's all this crazy stuff up there. I mean,
if you've never been, it's definitely worth it.
Look it up because it's something that I highly recommend. Yeah. If you're into having some wild fun and seeing stuff you'll never see anywhere, it's worth a trip there one day. So
you just make sure you're prepared.
Oh, and by the way, they've always I don't know about this year, but usually they have a skate park.
Oh yeah,
they actually have a couple.
They were when I went the second time. I don't think I was staying with the Playa Surfers that time. It was a different camp, but close to your camp, it was like
there was they had this really good skate park. They had one that was kind of like a real kind of like a real rough one that was not that.
Maybe that's the one that I saw.
But then there was this one they built and had because you have to remember this is in the middle of the desert in this like playa desert. Nothing is there, and they build all this shit for just this 1 week. And like I said, go take a look at the pictures you got, and most people will never believe what happens there in that week. But this one really cool skate park thing they built, they had like this coping, and the coping would be on fire. Yeah, they had gas running there with holes, so it was like flaming coping. It was pretty badass.
Yeah. I used to do that when I was kids. We'd take like an Axe canister and like put the lighter in front of it and then light shit on fire while we're like light some coping on fire. We always did that. It was probably so dangerous.
Yeah,
explode those Axe cans.
Yeah, that's probably in a sense more dangerous.
Middle school days, yeah. But yeah, go to Burning Man.
Yeah,
it's good. It's a good time.
It's kind of a life changer, because what happens out there, it's not just the craziness and the psychedelics and there's a lot of even naked. I mean, like there's like, people walk around naked. That's allowed. I don't do the naked thing, but it's normal. And so, but what's interesting is how much, and this is what's missing in our world. I think there's so much love there. Like, everybody is so welcoming. You're not allowed to spend any money. Like it's a gifting society. So everyone, you go to all these, like, literally there's probably thousands of camps, and they just give you stuff. Every bar, I mean, everywhere's got a bar, and there's all these art cars that look like, pirate ships and alien things and animals, and whatever your imagination is probably there. This most insane art cars, these rolling parties, and they all have bars on them. Everywhere you go, there's bars, and everything's free.
Yeah,
everyone just, here's a drink.
It's fun too. I remember I was working a bar like a couple nights, like on the playa, and it just was such a good time, just making drinks for people, and then the people you meet. Oh man, it's just, come by. It's just incredible.
The stories and the love, like I say, everyone's just so nice to you. It doesn't matter what you believe in, whatever. Everyone's just like, come on in, have a drink, have some food, here's a gift, here's whatever. It's a gifting, so you give.
Yeah.
And the thing is a lot of people think, oh, you're supposed to barter. No, it's a gift means you give someone with no expectations of anything in return.
Yeah.
And to me, one of the best gifts, I think, even outside of Burning Man, that I don't think people do this enough, is just smile.
Yeah.
If you walk by someone on a sidewalk or in a supermarket, just smile at them. I mean, it doesn't cost you anything.
People don't do that
and it makes
enough
people's
these days.
day. It makes people feel better.
Yeah. I try to go on a walk in my neighborhood and just always say hello, even if it doesn't start a conversation. But it makes you feel better too.
It makes you feel better. Yeah, it's something. It changes the vibe, right?
Definitely. Yeah.
It makes you feel better, right?
Makes you feel better,
and then it makes that person. It's like it's sending that energy of like, I'm a friendly person, and I'm sharing my good vibes with you.
Yeah, and I feel like we try to bring that same energy into what we do here at GrindKing, even though we ruffle feathers. But it's like, look, like if you ever met like an Australian before and hung out with Australians, all they do is ruffle each other's feathers. Yeah. Their banter is insane. Like, if you don't have tough skin, then you're done. Because like, if you're in like a group of friends and they're like Australian dudes, those guys they go after each other. Just 24/7. I feel like here we've gotten kind of
skateboarding. I mean, it's a weird culture, because there's a lot of skaters that get that. I know there's a lot of skate, but there's also a lot of this, and it comes from I used to do Dogtown back in the day when Jim Muir licensed me Dogtown. I did Dogtown for a while, and Dogtown is this the cool thing it's the core of skateboarding kind of.
It really is. If you're gonna talk about core, it's like Dogtown is. But
one thing I didn't vibe with was that it's kind of a locals only thing. That's part of its vibe. And I get it as part of its vibe. It makes it kind of like cool and badass, and it's part of the skate. And I think back in those days, it was maybe more applicable. But in today's world, I think it's important that, especially in skateboarding, where it's like kind of like it's here or there. I mean, skateboarding is going through a weird phase right now. It's not like all... It's not
all in one place.
It's not in one place anymore, and doesn't have the same vibe as back in the 80s, 90s, even early 2000s. It's kind of missing that, and to me, we have to understand that it's healthy for our whole culture as a whole that we recognize each other, whether we believe in this or that. It doesn't matter. We're at the core, we have a common denominator, which is skateboarding, and skateboarding is a very unique. I don't even call it a sport. It's sort of a lifestyle.
Yeah,
it's a lifestyle. So, recognize that. Don't look at the differences when you see other people, especially skaters. Look at what we have in common. Like, we all ride these crazy boards with wheels and trucks, and we do these tricks, and we're different in that way, and love that fact about everybody. There's people call, oh, here's a kook, Yeah, well, everybody was a kook at one point.
And we've all done that. If you're in skateboarding, you like use those terms, but it's like as I've gotten older,
as you get older, you realize, let's just be cool with each other.
Yeah, help that kid out who just got on a skateboard.
We're here to have fun. Don't ruin it for somebody. Make him,
you should be stoked that somebody just got their first skateboard, and you should go up to him and just be like, "Hey man, how you doing?"
Yeah,
introduce yourself. Yeah, 'cause then we lose.
Yeah,
yeah. If you stop doing that, then
it kind of takes the fun out of it, and it's just. I don't know. I don't want to get too kumbaya about it, but it's definitely something that I want to say that certainly from GrindKing, that was the whole point of the podcast to begin with was when before it was FTWG, it was Team GrindKing, and the concept was let's try something different. Let's just welcome everybody onto the team. It doesn't matter if you're a first time skateboarder or you're a pro. We're just a family here for you.
Yeah, you can be a 55-year-old grandma and just be getting on a skateboard, and you're welcome here.
Hell yeah. That would be awesome.
Be awesome. I see a lot more of that, like a lot of like different kind of people that you would never expect getting on a skateboard, and I find that amazing.
Well,
it's with anything.
It's funny that skateboarders that are, now 60s even, they're still, even maybe 70s, some of them are still skate. That's how interesting and unique our sport is that the age span. I mean, when I first started skateboarding, if someone told me they were like 50 or 60, I'd be like, no way, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Now I see guys that are like that age and they're still, they're still ripping.
Yeah, might have knee replacements.
Yeah. It hurts more to fall for sure.
Hurts more.
But
you see people starting later now too. Like I see guys like in their 40s. They're like, I'm going to pick up skateboarding as a hobby.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of shows how. The world has changed, and not just the way the world is, but in how people look at things. Like, back when I first started skateboarding, it was kind of a kid's sport. It was more like just younger people skated.
Yeah.
But now it's like there's like the dad, maybe even the grandfather, or the father and the kid. They're all skateboarding still.
Yeah.
So it's sort
multiple generations.
It's a multiple generation sport, and that's why I think it's important that we recognize all skaters. We have that common denominator, and forget about the politics, forget about religion, forget about all that stuff that separates us. Let's remember that we all have that in common, which is amazing. It's an amazing culture that maybe most people, unfortunately, in their entire life will never have that experience of like pushing a plank of wood.
Something to say too. It's like if I walk into a random coffee shop and strike up a conversation. Oh, what are you into? I'm like, oh, I'm into skateboarding. I'm into skateboarding. That's awesome. And then you can discover what that person's into. Mm-hmm. What other hobbies does he have? What does he do for work? And then you can just find all of these common denominators from that single thing that you found with that other person. Like, oh, we're both into skateboarding, and then it kind of starts the conversation. And there's so many interesting things that people do that skate.
Yeah,
more so than skateboarding. I think that's why we've kind of expanded this podcast, because we know that skateboarding is bigger than just riding on the board. It's bigger than just the tricks. It's bigger than just being at the skate park. It's like there's so much art, there's so much music, there's so much culture that goes into it. And I mean that's amazing. But peace and love, guys. Kumbaya. Getting a little too sentimental here.
No, again, it's like I think it's okay to, it doesn't. There's even like some people like think that, other things that are that are fringe of skateboarding. For example, especially this isn't so bad maybe as it was when back in the earlier days, but like if you ever pulled into a skate park with rollerblades.
Oh yeah. Well
maybe still there's some of that, but it was like
it's scooters now. It's the scooter.
I mean,
kids.
You get your ass kicked.
When
you were in Venice
definitely.
and you tried to like drop in, I mean, people would probably start throwing things at you.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But now
I think at Venice it still happens a little bit. Not as much.
Maybe
as
not
it
used to.
Yeah.
But now there's. I mean, I see these like guys
Fruit booters.
With the scooter, the
scooter kids are
scooter guys with the handlebars.
Yeah,
What do they call those scooters?
When I was growing up, they were Razor was
Razor
like the
things,
scooter thing.
But there's this one, several I've seen that they're insane. They're like doing
backflips
and
crazy
handrails on those things.
Yeah, I would never try that. It's like a shin to like. Can you imagine a skateboard hurts when you get shinned? How about a metal scooter that you're doing like a tailspin on, and it just hits you in the shin.
It's interesting. I see that, but it's actually kind of more. Yeah. People see how good they're doing it, and then they kind of like shut up because like
they look kind of skilled. It looks kind of lame though.
Okay, it does kind of look a
little bit. Yeah, I just contradicted myself on everything I just said. I'm bad.
Yeah, fuck those scooters.
No, but in all reality, it's like, I mean, it's insane if you're doing something on cement and flipping out of a bowl on anything. Mm-hmm. It's like, good for you. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna give you a round of applause.
Yeah, and then there's some people I've seen some amazing handicap people that are on skateboards that are just, I mean, mind blown.
Yeah,
like, they're just like, I mean, not to mention they're pretty good, but they also, I mean, the courage, that's like an inspiration because I complain like, oh, my fingernail's broken,
Yeah.
I can't skate today. No, but
I complain about it all the time.
Yeah, and something stupid
something
shit,
hurts.
And then you see that and you're like,
it's like, why am I complaining?
Idiot.
Yeah, but anyway, earn your grooves.
Yeah, earn your deeper grooves.
Earn your deeper grooves. Welcome to the Inverted Kingpin Club, everybody out there. And we're going to try to start doing this podcast more because we've been falling off a little bit, but we're busy. Yeah. And that's all because of you guys. So thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We appreciate everybody out there.
Yeah. Rock on. Yeah. You think that's good for this episode?
I think that's it.
All right. Right on. Peace out. Hit that like or subscribe, please. It's the only thing that we ask. It helps us continue doing this podcast. Yeah. And when we get to 100, we'll see if we keep going. But it's looking pretty good. So much love. Peace out.